Hey Mel,
Hey, Michelle, how's it going?
very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. I'm very, very honoured to come to you from the land of the Boon Wurrung and the Wurundjeri people today here in Australia. And it's a really important week this week, very sad week for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So I know that we didn't talk about this off air, but I want to pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and say sorry for colonisation and the hurt that they've endured for so long. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I've got something I want to talk to you about. Do you want to talk to me about anything first?
No, I think let's get into it. This is
All
important.
right. Okay. So, Mel, in a career that soars, we have a definition of leadership that we use as our North Star to help women have a career that soars. So it's the cornerstone of everything that we do. So I wonder if you can share what our definition of leadership is, and then I'm going to ask you another couple of questions about it.
Yes, I'd love to share. So, our definition of leadership is using the greatness in you to achieve and sustain extraordinary outcomes by engaging the greatness in others.
Okay. So when did you first discover, but before we started a career that soars, before Lead to Soar, so when did you first discover that leadership definition?
So I first came across Susan Colantuno's TED Talk a number of years before I interacted with Susan, and she invited me to join a career that soars. So that was the first time I heard the definition and the first time that I heard about the concept of the missing 33%.
And when you first heard about, so the missing 33%, what is that? I guess I've spoken to literally hundreds, maybe thousands of women about this particular topic. And I don't know that you and I have ever really interrogated it together. But when you first heard or watched the TED Talk and discovered the missing 33%, what did you think? What did you think and what did you feel?
Well, I felt kind of a sense of maybe combination of oh crap and wow. So I was. It took a while. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've rewatched Susan's TED Talk. I feel like I get something out of it every time I watch it. And for any viewer out there who hasn't seen it, the title is "The Career Advice That You Probably Didn't Get." Um, so I it took a while to sink in, and it's just become more and more important to me when I think about how I need to go about progressing as a professional and progressing in my career. So maybe I'll try to paraphrase it and you can tell me if I'm missing anything here. So
Yeah, sounds good.
okay, so the leadership definition that we use has three parts to it essentially, and those three parts are, I'm going to tell them to you a little out of order. So the three parts are using the greatness in you, and these are things like your personal attributes and your values. So developing and deploying your own individual personal skills. And then there's engaging the greatness in others. And that's really what it sounds like. It's things like your ability to develop a team, to foster collaboration, to engage with clients. So it's engaging the greatness in people, both internal and external. And then the third piece that we talk about is achieving and sustaining extraordinary outcomes. And what that means is deploying your business, strategic, and financial acumen in service of moving your business or organization towards its goals, where it's aiming for the future. So the missing 33% that we talk about is really the 1/3 of the leadership equation where women are typically not sufficiently guided, taught, and mentored. So oftentimes when we look at traditional leadership advice, we see it circling around personal greatness and engaging the greatness in others. We talk about things like charisma and whatnot. But we seldom hear leadership teachings taught around business strategic and financial acumen, particularly for guiding women. And that's what Susan and her work and your work have shown is a huge part of the gap or missing piece of the equation to close the gender leadership gap at the top of organizations. So this is my paraphrasing, my understanding.
So you've done a pretty good job, and I think there's a couple of points that I'm going to add to build on what you've said, which is bang on. So number one, this 3-part leadership definition. When we think about and certainly when I work with women in my courses and my programs within my clients' organisations, and even with men, I say, when we think about leadership and when we think about leaders, we're often thinking about the personal greatness. So those strengths, the values, the confidence, the charisma, the trustworthiness, worldview, that kind of stuff. So that's often what leads people's mind's eye when we think about leaders. And that's great. And we know from our research that bosses rate women and men roughly equal on that element of personal greatness, of the leadership definition. When it comes to engaging others, there's some stuff there. We know that bosses rate women as being far superior to men in engaging the greatness in others, with a couple of notable exceptions. And this is where the strategic stuff starts to come in. So when we talk about engaging the greatness in others, it's actually not about winning popularity contests and being, the most loved and revered leader, which, let's face it, all of us want to be loved and revered. So, well, I certainly do. But anyway, but it is about also aligning those people towards the strategic and the financial outcomes that the organisation sees as important. So that alignment piece, strategic networking, the ability to influence, develop others through that kind of stuff is also important. And then, yes, you've nailed it with the missing 33%. It's your developing and demonstrating your business, strategic and financial acumen. And we know that, certainly I keep records of every time I ask women this question, what's the best career advice you've ever received? 97% of career advice is not given to women, is not based on developing and demonstrating their business, strategic and financial acumen. And that makes my head explode. And probably a little bit the same as you and other people I know that have watched the TED Talk. They have this kind of slight head explosion. They go, oh my God, that's it. It's missing. Now, it may not be missing in you or us, but it may be missing in how people perceive you as a leader. So if you're not demonstrating the fact that you are nailing, the business, the strategic, the financial acumen, or elements within that, of course, if you're not perceived as having those skills, even though you might have them but you're not demonstrating them, that can hold women back as well. So I think you did a really, really good job of it, Mel. And this is the stuff that I love to do with women, is give them the right coaching, the right advice, complete. Now, so the advice around your greatness and engaging the greatness in others is not wrong. In fact, it's necessary, particularly at the start of your career. But you've got to start getting advice that's appropriate for your career stage. And if you're not getting advice about business, strategic and financial acumen, you have to ask for it and go and seek it. So that's what I love. That's what I love about what we do in A Career That Soars.
And that's really important to highlight that, we are not about just pushing this information. We are there with you live inside A Career That Soars to help support you. So you've started something new inside A Career That Soars here at the beginning of the year. We've kind of added several new things, but we want to talk about this one thing today. So tell us about that. What's happening weekly inside A Career That Soars?
Every week, let me take a step back and put some context. I because I work with so many different people and I've got a great network, I'm more often than not asked if, can I get some coaching from you, Michelle? Can I pick your brains? Can you be my mentor? And I'd love to say yes to everyone, and I just can't because I don't have capacity. So I kind of finally listened to all of this, the messages coming from my fabulous network. Why don't I do a group coaching session every single week? So in a career that serves, because that's my way of giving, well, without sounding too trite, my way of giving back, and my way of making sure that women are exposed to these concepts and can get some really targeted advice. So yeah, every week in A Career That Soars, I host an hour of power where our members can drop in and they can either ask about a particular one of these subjects, they can ask about something that's going on in their workplace, get some advice about their career, about leadership, whatever it may be. And certainly they'll get it from me, but they'll get it from each other as well, because the collective wisdom of our members is pretty extraordinary. So it's, I don't know, Mel, I've got a session today, and I've got about a dozen of our members joining me, which will fill my cup, but certainly it gives me the opportunity to give the advice women need, not the advice that women typically get. The conventional wisdom given to women is often outdated, incomplete, and useless. So that's what they won't get. They'll get targeted, useful leadership and career advice based on our leadership definition, and certainly grounded in making sure that women are exposed to the missing 33%.
Yeah, so we would love if you would come join us and add to our collective wisdom. And this week's session, it's going to be in just a couple of hours. So that's like midday Australia. It's after work hours in US time zones. So Michelle, if we've got a viewer out there who wants to join us, where can she find us?
www.acareerthatsoars.com. I've popped it into the feed for some of the channels that we're on. It doesn't work on all of them, but or look up Mel and I, find us on our socials, and because the links are all there, or message me. But and I want to be really open here. A career coach costs a lot of money. A Career That Soars costs $145 US a year, and you could be coached for an hour every week by me, or in one of the other sessions that we run every month with you, with me, with our other hosts. So I don't know. I think it's a bargain. So
definitely. Excellent.
Cool.
Well, thank you for walking us through that today. And
well, thank you, because you walked us through. You were the one who did the definition, and you did a really great job. So let's hope that even if one woman's watching this today and says, how do I measure up? How does my boss perceive my business, strategic and financial acumen? How does my boss's boss perceive my business, strategic and financial acumen? That's what I want to leave you with. How does your boss and your boss's boss perceive your business, strategic and financial acumen? If you don't know, come and talk to us.
Food for thought.
Indeed. All right, my friend. See you next week.
All right. Bye, Michelle.
Bye. Bye.